What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So I do want to talk on a couple of different things today. One of which is, I know a lot of us say that Lucid is better than Tesla, but when it comes down to institutions actually doing that, that is a whole different ball game. So I do want to show you proof of that. In addition to, I do want to talk about Lucid's expansion, questionable expansion, and what it ultimately may mean for us as investors. But before I get into any of that, you guys know the deal. Smash the thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Greatly appreciate that. If you do like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom screen. In addition to that, I do weekly live streams for members only, so even more of an incentive to sign up. With that, let's get right to it. So like I said, when it comes down to Lucid over Tesla and who prefers who, obviously as far as creators and coming from a growth standpoint, there's a lot more benefits to invest in Lucid rather than Tesla. And when it comes down to an actual institution preferring Lucid over Tesla, which Tesla has been around give or take around a decade, and Lucid is just starting out. So for an institution to actually choose the underdog, that is a big deal. So I'm just going to show you this. So this is the institutions and hedge funds through Fintel, the 13Fs that have come down the pipeline. A lot of institutions still adding to Lucid, which is a very positive thing, a great catalyst to always know. But I do want to show you as far as Blackstone. So they did submit it on January the 28th, and they did actually show that they didn't actually sell out. So they've been one of the long-term investors when it comes down to Lucid, and they have about 8.3 million shares of Lucid. So that's a pretty big chunk of change. And even just sorting this based on the share quantity, they are definitely up there as far as top 10. So when it comes down to the fact that they haven't sold, they maintain their position, that definitely shows a huge support when it comes to Lucid. And again, same time period, they did submit the 13F on January the 28th. In that same 13F that was submitted on January the 28th, it does indicate they were shorting Tesla. They had puts on Tesla that they did close out recently, but still at that same time period, they're investing heavily on Lucid, and they had a lot of puts when it came to Tesla. So again, preferring Lucid over Tesla, even the fact that they were shorting Tesla. And I did double check, normally some strategies that they do have from institutions, they have calls, puts, and sometimes shares as well. But in this case, they do not have any calls of Tesla. They only had puts. So it comes down to the fact that Blackstone loves Lucid, and for an institution of that size to actually back a underdog, that is a big deal. So I'm a very big fan of that, and honestly I do not feel that a lot of individuals know this information. So this is definitely one plus up for Lucid, especially considering, like I said, a lot of these institutions you can see based on the filing date as well are adding, because there is a big anticipation of a huge rally, especially 2022 is a big year for Lucid. And as you can see to my left, there is the live ticker, currently down roughly about 0.75%, 32 million in volume as of right now, whereas the average is 51. But even looking at block volume, so 2.4 million shares being purchased by institutions today alone. Almost every single day is roughly between 2 to 5 million shares. So it definitely shows that there is a lot of demand when it comes to Lucid. And when it comes to demand and expansion, Lucid is capitalizing on every aspect around the corner of the globe that does offer a little bit of demand for its vehicles. And with that, I just want to show you a couple of different posts that were on Twitter, both of which are very questionable. So you can see a couple of positions are being sought out in Taiwan. This one's a little bit more detailed, but it does show a senior mechanical engineer, and global supply chain manager, all for Taiwan. So again, what are they doing in Taiwan? There's a couple different options that are floating around. Hypothetically, we all know that there's Foxconn. Foxconn is a Taiwanese company, and we all know Foxconn's kind of connection with Apple. So again, there is that little rumor floating around again, whether it be an Apple car through Foxconn or whatever it might be, some working around going on, but still adds a lot of questions. What are they doing? And ultimately, we do know that Lucid does want to expand into China, and they have even said they want to do it by 2025. So when it comes down to that, it might be beneficial for them to actually produce the vehicles or even part of them in Taiwan and actually have it either delivered to China or whatever it might be. Similarly, what they're doing with Saudi Arabia and Europe, right? Saudi Arabia is technically going to be building the vehicles, but delivering them to Europe. It is closer and more cost efficient to deliver those vehicles to Europe from Saudi Arabia than North America. Similarly, like this, Taiwan to China. So that is one option that could be in the play. Let me know in the comments below what you think and why they are actually hiring these, and they're not entry-level positions by any means, but why they're hiring these positions in Taiwan. So when it comes down to that, that might be a play, or again, it could be a little bit more of a speculative situation where it's involving Foxconn, aka or also Apple. You never know, right? But regardless of all that, I am very excited about their growth, whether it be in Europe or China. And I recently did a video as well, more specifically focusing on Saudi Arabia and Europe. But even when it comes down to China, China's demand is definitely up there. So you can see it is the second most plug-in vehicle sales worldwide, and that was based on 2022. So again, whether you are excited about Europe, China, whatever you are, whatever floats your boat, there is a lot of demand out there, and definitely Lucid can actually fill that void. Like I said in that previous video as well, if you haven't already, make sure you guys take a look at that and also subscribe. I do a lot of catalysts about Lucid, and when it comes down to this, as questionable or whatever it might be to us as investors, is very beneficial. Lucid is a very calculated company, so they're not just going to be hiring all these positions for Taiwan for no benefit at the end of the day, right? So that's one of those things that adds a little bit of question, but again, it is very alluring to when to invest a little bit more just for this factor, right? In reality, it could definitely be because of China, but let me know in the comments below what you do think about that. With all that, let me know your thoughts on Lucid in the comments below. If you haven't already, smash a thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Greatly appreciate that. If you do like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom screen. Greatly appreciate that. With all that, I appreciate you guys watching, and let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.